Go ahead.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Survival Gardening Show with your host, David the Good, the Survival Gardener, David the Good channel on YouTube. Today we're going to mix some corn up. I have 7 60-foot long rows, and I want to breed a corn variety for this area. I want my own corn variety. All these different varieties of corn are not mine. So what I want to do is mix up a ton of varieties. Thank you, Joseph Lofthouse. I've taken your work. I am your humble pupil. And I'm just going to go crazy with it, right? So last year I grew this Hickory King. Hickory King is a corn I've grown multiple years. I like it. It makes great grits. Tastes good. But it's white. And I want more color in the corn. I want more beta-carotene and anthocyanins and all whatever is in colored corn, you know, FD&C Lake number 5. I want that in my corn. So I also want a variety that survives and produces better than Hickory King. I wasn't that impressed with the yields of Hickory King here. We're going to just mix a whole bunch of varieties and let the genetics sort out, and the ones that produce really well we will save from, and we're going to let them all intercross. So 60-foot rows, 7 60-foot rows, which is 420 feet of corn. 420 feet of corn, and I need to plant an individual corn seed every 6 inches, which means I need 840 kernels of corn. 840 kernels of corn divided by 14 different varieties is 60 kernels each. We've got 2 different packets of Rio Grande Blue. Now, we don't know how long all these things are necessarily going to take to seed out and pollinate each other. This is an issue. Oh man, that's so cool. Those are cool. Look at that. So we will mix these up because these are 2 different lines, and we want the decent amount of genetic diversity. I see a slight color difference between these 2. Just a little bit. Alright, so let's mix them together. And then we got to pick out 60. This is Tuxpeño from the Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. This is a dent corn. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's totally different than those. It's like a flower corn. It's a dent corn. Oh yeah. This is called Hickory Cane. I don't know if there's a difference between this and Hickory King. Sometimes, you know, names get mangled, but since it's the Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, I'm guessing it's an offshoot. They know what they're doing. They wouldn't just randomly name stuff unless there's more than one name for it. Hickory Cane. Reed's Yellow Dent Corn. Oh, that's pretty. Leeming's Yellow Dent Corn from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. This is corn from Danny and Wanda, Deep South Homestead. This is the 2020 harvest. Hopefully it's fine. Yeah, look at that cool corn. He's already got a good mix. Cherokee White Flower Corn, Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. I obviously ordered too much corn. I was going to plant an acre, but I thought I was going to be able to borrow a big tractor to put it in, and that didn't happen. That's a pretty corn. Jellicorse Twin from the Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. Atomic Orange corn. Here's our beta-carotene from Baker Creek Seeds. Whoa, look at that. That's so atomic. This is Shawnee Pearl flint corn. Generally, flint corn is not what we're looking for in this climate. But I'm mixing them in anyways because I'm crazy like that. Maybe their genetics will add something. Those are very pretty. this is some of the best of our own Hickory King from last year. We'll mix back in. Maybe there'll be a little bit of local adaptation going on. I forgot to mention that Shawnee Pearl was from the Sandhill Preservation Center, Heirloom Seeds. I wanted to mention that because I missed it. This is from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. This is Nallo Orange Flint. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, it's nice and orange. Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. Looney Dent Corn. Crazy. Looney Dent Corn. I don't know. You know, it's late at night and you just start buying stuff. Dogs don't eat corn. Dogs don't eat corn. This last one is Cherokee White Eagle Dent Corn from the Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. Very last. What? It's White Eagle, but it's not really white. Now for all you obsessive compulsive people, and for everybody who's like, there's generations of effort. Look at that, I just mixed some old lady's backyard corn from somewhere up north with a Indian corn from down south with a Mexican with a, I mean, oh no, what is he doing? There we go, there's our corn for this year. That's beautiful. What a mess. So we're going to throw a huge amount of genetics into one corn patch. Sitting here worried in the backseat of a car, worrying about the driver and hoping we aren't going far. 'Cause I don't have a seatbelt and don't want to get thrown out of the windshield of the car, where I'm worrying as I'm sitting in the backseat of a car. Worrying as we're fishing about the bones in the fishes that could get caught in my throat. And I'm worrying about the fishing licenses of the other fishermen fishing in our boat. If I ate one of the fishes and the bones got stuck in my throat, will the police throw me down on the ground as I choke? Alright, we got it all planted. But I have to take my shoes off for the next part. We got it all set in the trenches, but it's not planted. You know, there's layers. So God gave you tools to do this with. That's the way you do it. I think I've bent over enough for one day. We're doing something different. As you've noticed, this was the mixed up garden. We got this nasty freeze, which destroyed all the peas that were coming in. And then we had to go out of town for a couple of days. And there was still a lot of greenery from the lentils that I had planted. So I decided, you know what? This is going to be the corn patch. I'm done with it. And we put the goats over it. We enclosed them with goat panels. Put the goats over it for the time that we were out. And then I decided, all right, I want to leave some roots in the ground because we get a lot of rain, and these are mostly nitrogen fixers in here. Why not just oversow? I just cut strips with the wheel hoe to open the ground up a little bit. And then I can leave all these weeds on the ground to maybe build the soil and the remnants of the lentils and whatever else is in here. It's almost no-till. If I had some sort of way to drill the seeds into the ground, I probably could have, but we'll see. I'll see how they actually do. But I don't want to till them under because I've got issues with this area. Has a little bit of slope to it, and it ruts. And the areas that have plants on them don't make ruts and don't wash away all the hard work that we did. And remember, there was alfalfa tilled into here. We've had a little biochar put in here. We've had compost put in here. If I till it all under, I'm going to burn that out. So I'm going to just trust that the vigor of the corn will go and run over as it gets warmer here. And it won't be a issue. I think that they're going to outrun all the cool season stuff that we planted. And I planted the rows at slightly tighter spacing than I did last year. They did great last year, and I wanted to see if I could fit a few more rows in here for the amount of genetic diversity that we're trying to create. So I planted them at about 30 inches instead of 36 inches. And I did manage to hit some fire ants. 7 rows, 14 different varieties, and I don't know, this Joseph Lofthouse style of landrace gardening really appeals to me. I read that book and I said, ah yes. I was planting different varieties at a time, but I still had the idea of, you know, let's find out which heirloom variety really sticks and does well in our area. Instead of just necessarily crossing them all up, I was just kind of looking for which one fit. But this way we just breed our own heirloom. I'll put a link to his book below. Very good. A very interesting book. I greatly enjoyed it. So we'll follow this corn patch through the season over the next 90 to 120 days. It will be exciting. I know some of these things are going to produce faster than others, and as we go we'll see which pollinate, which actually makes some corn for us, which ones work, which ones don't, and I'll bring you along with me. So stay tuned. Follow me on the subscribe and the bell, and until next time, may your thumbs always be green.
This world is a terrifying place, so I try to keep a smile